do? Hello again and welcome back to our channel. Today is day 2 for my pot roast pork. So here is my pork, which I have removed from my refrigerator, and I have done so a couple hours now, just to give it enough time to get ready for roasting. So now I have my oil here ready and my Dutch pot. So at this point my stove is on medium to high heat because I want to be placing my pork in very hot oil. So now I am going to be adding to my oil some sprig of thyme and a couple cloves of garlic. So I'm just going to give the thyme and the garlic just a couple of seconds or a minute thereabouts, just to get some of the flavors immersed into the oil. So I'm going to remove the pork from. Now I'm going to actually get my pork ready to be placed into the oil. So I'm going to be placing the pork skin side down into the oil. So now I'm just going to basically dunk this lovely piece of pork into the pot, and it is going in skin side down, so you can get that nice crusty golden looking color from the pork when it's finished roasting. So I'm going to just quickly wash my hands here, and then I will come back. So just washing my hands. So I'm now going to leave my pork here, and here I have, you know, some of the remaining seasoning and spices from the pork. What I'm going to do with this is to add hot water to this, to add some to my pot if and when needed, if the pork itself dries out and need more water. So at this point now I'm going to cover my pot. I won't be adding any water or anything here because the pork will spring its own water. So I'm just now going to leave this, and I will only come back to it maybe within the next half an hour or so. So I'll just give it enough time to take its time and steam, and for the pork to generate its own water, because you don't want to be adding water because you're not boiling the pork. You want it to roast and cook itself into its own juices. So I'm now going to just leave the pot and the pork, let them sit there, and just let the heat from the stove does its thing. So I will return in another half an hour or so. So after about 20 minutes, I am now going to have a look at my pot roast pork to see how it's doing. So I'm going to be flipping this on the other side. So if you look in here, you can see what's going on. So what I'm going to do is to, you see how much water is generating? So at this point, I don't need to add any water anytime soon. So what I'm going to do now is to try to flip this over onto the other side. So you can see it there. I'm going to flip that onto the other side, and I'm going to just brush the thyme and garlic off into the juice that's been generated from the meat, so that can stay into the juice and absorb some flavor. So I'm going to just let that sit there, so you can see what it looks like here. Just gonna let that sit there for maybe another 15 to 20 minutes or half an hour thereabouts before I even look at it again. So I'm just leaving it so that the juices get locked in and that it steams beautifully into my Dutch pot here. So I'm going to cover my pot and just leave my pork to slowly roast there. So now I'm going to have a look at my pork again. So it's been more than 30 minutes since I have left my pork here, and still I don't need to add any water to it because you can see it's still generating a lot of water here So that means it's steaming and cooking beautifully. So still don't need to add any water. You can see it there, cooking beautifully, no water needed. So I'm just going to leave it to continue doing its thing, and I'll just turn it back over and leave the skin up and let it continue cooking, and I'll just leave it there. So I'm gonna cover my pot and leave it to continue cooking. So here I am again. I am looking at my pork. And I still haven't added any water to it since I put it in at the first instance. And if you look here, you can see it's browning down beautifully. There's a lot of oil in here. So I'm just going to give that maybe another couple of minutes. It's fully cooked and everything. So I'm going to just give that maybe another two minutes or so. And then I'm going to remove it from here. And then I'm going to use the sauce that's in the pot to make some gravy for it. So have a look to see what my pot roast pork look like. Beautiful golden brown, and it's cooking beautifully. So I'm just going to give that another couple of minutes on very low heat, because it's done cooking. The skin is soft, it's falling apart basically. So I'm just going to leave it on very low heat, and then I'll remove it from the pot. So I'm just going to cover my pot and leave my pork just to let it simmer. So there you have it, my pork is ready. So you can see my beautiful pot roast pork here. I'm going to remove it from the pot. So there it is, I have removed my pork. So there we have it. What I'm going to do now is to use the seasoning here to make some sauce. So I'm going to boil it into the pot here. So here I have the gravy from the pot roast pork. I've added some water to this, and I'm going to now add a mixture of ketchup and barbecue sauce in here, so I can get the gravy for our roast pork. I'm going to now bring this to a boil and allow it to thicken. So I can get a wonderful sauce from my pot roast pork. So I'm just going to allow this now to come to a boil. Let me just have a taste to see what it tastes like. I'm just going to add a little bit more salt to that. So I'm just going to add a little drop of salt to that, and that should do it. So I'll just leave that now to boil to become a bit more of a gravy, and then I will remove it from there. So there you have my pot roast pork, which is beautifully done, and I have paired it here with some baked potatoes, and I have made some gravy as well. So I'm just going to drizzle some of my gravy over that. So there we have it, beautiful pot roast pork. I hope you do enjoy this video. Thanks for watching, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. So here I am now going to slice the pork so you can see what it looks like inside. So there we have it. See how beautiful that looks. here I've made this beautiful sauce just to drizzle over my beautiful pot roast pork.